So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Today, we're going to talk about networking and how to find the right people to connect with. Because, there are so many people out there you can connect with, but the question is merely how to find the right people. And with the right people, I basically mean how to find your ideal clients while networking, right? Because we've all been to those networking real life events where all you got was like 10 of those business cards and you went away like thinking, wow, I didn't really connect with someone. So there's a lot to it, but how do you really find the right person? And I'm going to start with some basics before taking the deep dive. When you are looking for your ideal client, you need to be very aware who your ideal client is. Now, this sounds a bit like the remark, obviously, but what I mean by that is that when you network, you're meeting new people. And those people might be the gateway to your ideal client. But you need to be very specific and very clear about who is your ideal client. So whoever you meet understands who you want to connect with. And this is also a mistake many people make. You network thinking, oh, I'm going to meet my ideal client today. Of course, it's possible. Of course, you can have because a lot of the networking is done online today. You can have a one-on-one with someone who is in need of your services. Great. If that's the case, I don't have to tell you, you go into the sales conversation and you start working with them. But more often than not, the people that you meet or the people you already know are not your ideal clients, but know your ideal clients. If you have that image, then networking always pays off. Because I have a lot of clients that tell me, networking takes up a whole lot of my time and not necessarily pays out. This is because the image you may have of networking might be not the right one. You're looking for your ideal clients, whether it is by connecting immediately with them or by actually finding someone who knows your ideal clients. Okay? And you can already see that there's a shift. Oh, I'm not necessarily just looking for that one person. No, everybody I meet can bring me closer to my ideal clients. And that's why it's so important that you have a very clear image of who your ideal client is in a way that tells the people you talk to who you're looking for. Now, what I often see and what I often hear when people network is they say, and I'm going to take myself as an example, I'm looking for people that are very busy, that have a business that's doing well and that need help. Great. Now, if I'm speaking to you for the first time, I don't really know who to connect you with, because that basically tells me nothing, because it's all inside information. Okay. Or another one that I hear quite often, I'm looking for women that are stuck and want to do something else in their career. Again, a very specific problem, but as the person you're speaking to, you can't really tell from the outside whether they're stuck or not. You don't even know who to go to. So that's not a great description of your ideal client. Now, what is a great description of your ideal client? It's making it very specific who you're looking for in terms of demographics. So, for example, for me, what I could say is I'm looking for a business owner who has a business with between 5 to 100 employees is making a revenue between the 500K and the 10 million, and who is extremely great at what they're doing, that's what I'm looking for. Very specific. Not specific enough, because what I can also say is I work best with people that provide services, so service-based business owners, such as lawyers, coaches, and then I give some other examples. The more specific you make it, the better it gets. Because I can even go more specific, because if I say lawyers, a lot of people tell me, what kind of lawyers are you looking for? So I can say, I'm looking for marketing lawyers. You see the difference? That when I'm saying I'm looking for someone who is busy, yeah, I know everybody. But if I'm saying, hey, I'm looking for a marketing lawyer, do you know someone? Then someone might pop up. So that's a very clear distinction, and you need to be very specific. Now, if you're working with many people, like I do, the best thing is still to be very specific and very outspoken, and maybe just ask for an introduction to one person, a family lawyer, for example. Stuck on the lawyers now, but you get the drift, right? I'm looking for a family lawyer that has his own company, is a business owner, is doing great. Nobody knows whether they do great, but I always like to say that. And is on the verge of expanding, so may not have employees or may have one or two. Do you know someone? Okay. Now, another question that might pop up is, where are they located? For me, I work worldwide. It doesn't really matter, but sometimes, to be more specific, I say, well, many of my clients come from New York in the United States. Do you know a family lawyer in New York, United States? The funny thing is also, if I say I want to be connected to a family lawyer in the United States, in New York, you go like, well, I don't know someone in New York, but I do know someone in The Hague. It's almost as if I say a specific thing, you go like, I don't know, but I do know someone there. Right? So know your ideal client in terms of demographics. Now, if, for example, you are looking for people that are wanting to have a new garden design, right? You can say, yeah, how do I be very specific? Because I just need people that need a new garden design. So I can't really, you can't say that, you can't see it. Of course, I can ask you for things that, come to mind. But what you can always say is, okay, so if I'm thinking about it, in general, I work with people that are married, that maybe both of the people are working. Both partners are working. They are between, and I'm making this totally up, right? But you get my drift. That are between the 30 and 40, have in general 2 children, and they live just outside of the city. Do you know anyone? The other thing you could say is, I'm looking for people who just moved. Okay. But maybe make it a double thing. Of course, you have clients who are single, who didn't just move, who just want a new garden upgrade, whatever. You have those too. But for the sense of networking, it helps to be very specific. The one thing that is really, really killing your networking efforts is if you say, I can work with anyone. My God, and I hear it so often. First of all, it's not true, because you can't work with everyone. I can't work with everyone. If someone is like the the laziest person and never, does a thing. I can't work with them. They don't need time, And second of all, you don't want to work with everyone. Be honest. You have a preference. Okay. Now, what helps you is if you actually be specific on people that you already helped. The reason why I mention lawyers is twofold. First of all, I started my career as a lawyer. So lawyers like that because they know I get them. Okay. Second of all, I have great track record with working with lawyers. So it's easy for me to sell that to them and tell them about all the experience I already had, because we all want to feel that you get us. We want to know that you are inside our heads, and preferably that you already helped someone else. Okay, so be very specific, be very clear on who it is you want to work with. Now, what you can also do, then I was just talking to a client before this session. They want to work with very specific companies. For example, they want to work with Coca-Cola. Now, that's great. You go like, well, I don't know someone within Coca-Cola. But the thing is, Coca-Cola is huge and it's a global company. We all know people that know people that know people. So it might very well be that if I say to you, can you introduce me to someone within Coca-Cola, that you know someone who works with Coca-Cola. Now, I don't know someone who works within Coca-Cola, but I might know someone who knows someone. Because there was another example that was given. And for another big company, let's say it was L'Oreal. And I actually used to work with a colleague whose wife worked with L'Oreal. There you go. I know the wife. We party together. That's always a great way to reconnect, right? Remember those days? And I can say, well, I'm happy to reach out to her and just have a chat, just connect the two of you. So that's how easy it is, but be very specific. And don't feel like you have to show everybody everything, all the potential clients you can work with, or all the companies you want an introduction to. Rather make it small and specific, then give them more options, because with more options, people kind of go like, don't know. But if you're very specific, people go like, I know someone. Yeah. So that's the first thing I want to say about, well, there are two things I want you to take away from this. Networking always can be opening doors to you, but you need to be very specific who you want to be connected to. And my dog started to snore. The other thing you need to be aware of is that you have to actively ask. You actively have to ask, who do you know that you can connect me to? Make it a very interactive question. Assume they know someone they can connect you to. I don't know whether you hear that, but there's a... Oh, I just said it, and then outside there was a very dramatic sound. Anyway, I hope you didn't hear that. So don't be afraid to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get it. And again, this goes often wrong in networking. We say hello, we think it's obvious that that's what we're here for, networking, but unfortunately, not everybody's on the same page. Literally, some people just like to chat. You're not there to chat, you're there to build a business. So ask for business. Who do you know that you can refer me to? Who can you introduce me to? Okay, now, thinking about the way to go. What always helps is when you had a conversation with someone, to reach out to them afterwards. Thank them for the conversation you had. If you want to stay top of mind, we already spoke that in the other masterclass. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, how do I stay top of mind? How do I turn my existing network into paying clients? Go to that masterclass because it's brilliant. But what I want to say, if you had a conversation with someone, thank them afterwards. Now, there are a couple of things you can do to actually ensure that they are going to introduce you to someone in their network. First of all, you can send them a one-pager. A one-pager that highlights what you've just told them. Who you are, how you help your clients, the results you get for your clients, and who you work with, and actually asking them to introduce you. So it's a one-pager, a networking one-pager that highlights all the things we just spoke about. Taking it a step further, because now let's say someone said to you, oh, I know Pete. I think you should speak to Pete. Amazing. Can you introduce me to Pete? Some people need no more. They will just immediately send out an email saying, hey, Pete, meet Caroline. Caroline, meet Pete. You two should talk. Okay. That's amazing. Chances are, depending on how well they know Pete, that basically the meeting never is going to happen. Why? Pete might be very busy, and meet Caroline doesn't tell me anything. I don't really know what's in it for me. I am pressured for time. I'm not going to waste 30 minutes or maybe even an hour to talk to someone. I don't understand why. What's in it for me? You can make this easier when you actually attach a very short email saying how you help clients, in the sense that you say, struggling with this, get them this result. Very briefly. Why is that easier? Because if I need to make sure I have the names right. If you were speaking to Charles, who wanted you to meet Pete, Charles is again very busy. And he has a great network, and he's a great networker, so he's happy to introduce you. But what better way to do it if you send Charles an email? All he has to do is change the address, sends it off immediately, and you know that you're going to meet Pete. Because the email is very clear and Pete knows what he gets out of it meeting with you. Okay, so 2 things to send after a networking conversation: highlights about who you are, what you do, and the results you're getting the clients and the people you want to be introduced to, and an email that they can use to send off. You can even go further. Remember, it's all about you doing the work for them, so they don't have to do anything else than sending out the email that you drafted and you know is going to open the door for you. What you can even do is that you go through their LinkedIn profile, you check out who they are connected to, you see some people that you feel might be worthwhile getting introduced to, and you say, Charles, thank you so much for our conversation. I really enjoyed it. Here is my one-pager that tells you all about me. Here's an email you could use. And by the way, I noticed on LinkedIn that you are connected to Harry and Sally. And Harry is a family lawyer and Sally just started her own practice. You know, I would love for you to introduce them to me. Would you mind sending out this email? Thank you so much. I mean, this is like dummy proofing it. There is really no time wasted for them. You have maybe even Harry's email or whatever, but you know, they go like, sure, no problem. Let me do that for you. Right? So that's how you find the right people. In principle, everybody you network with is the right person because they can be the gateway to your ideal clients. Okay. Is this clear before I go on? Yeah, excellent. You can see that it's also maybe something to consider not to network with too many people because there is a bit of work to be done. It doesn't really matter that there's work to be done because rather really have a great conversation, make sure that you really have a rapport with someone, that you have a true connection, and then ask them for an introduction. Now, what in my experience works best is the people that I like to introduce are the people that I somehow had a true conversation with. What I mean by that, I just the other day I had a very amazing conversation with someone, and we were talking about books and how we love to read, you know, but how also that I really love books, but we have so many, and every time we move, and as you know, we move quite a bit, we have all these boxes full of books. So we decided no more books, just the Kindle. But then came an exception and an exception and an exception. So we were joking about, you know, how books are actually taking up a lot of space, but it's really nice. And we were just really having a proper conversation like you would have with a friend. And I felt that there was a connection. And I've noticed that every time when you kind of start the conversation differently, where it's about something human, not immediately, oh, I'm trying to sell, but, you know, something funny happens where, you know, Zoom is playing up, which happens a lot. You just laugh about it and you joke about it and you are human. Those are the best connections. Okay. So that's just something to be aware of. Okay. So we spoke about that basically every person that you network with can be the gateway to your ideal clients. Now, there is also another great person to be connected with, and that's your power partner. Okay, a power partner can be someone that serves your ideal clients, but does it in different capacity. So, as an example, you all know that I am here to help people that are very busy and give them more time. Now, very busy people often outsource things. They work with VAs, they work with marketing agencies, they outsource things because they can't do it all themselves. But they might not have a best strategy there yet, something I excel in. So my power partners are outsourcing companies, so as marketing agencies and agencies that, how do you say that? Outsource VAs. So what is a great introduction for me is to a marketing agency or to a person that runs an agency for VAs. And I ask people to connect me with them. And then when I'm connected with them, I start a collaboration. Or I ask them for an introduction to my ideal clients because I know they know my ideal clients. So it's easy peasy for them to introduce me. Now, how do you know who your power partner is? There are a couple of ways to think about it. Think about where you find your ideal clients. But you can also think about upstream and downstream. What I mean by that is that there are people that come to you, and before they come to you, they've worked with other people. For example, when you design gardens and people have been moving, before they get to their garden design, they use the moving company, right? Because they had to move. So your power partner is a moving company because they work with your ideal clients all the time, right? Another ideal partner, that's, by the way, upstream, prior to working with you. And then you have also downstream, after working with you. And I need to come up with a great example. For example, for myself, when people have worked with me, they have more time. They actually feel they can enjoy life. And one of the things often drops off the wagon when they are pressured for time is their personal health and fitness. Because they feel they have no time, they can't work out. And that's one of the reasons why they actually feel like, I'm pressured because I can't even work out and I want to work out, right? After they work with me, almost all my clients start to do more sports or think about their wellness or their health or their nutrition. So for me, downstream are wellness coaches, fitness coaches, personal trainers, you name it. We have the same ideal clients. So I have a joint venture with a personal trainer that really buys into my vision and into my ideals, and we can refer clients to each other. So when you're meeting someone in a networking meeting, you can ask them for your ideal clients, or you can ask them for a power partner. Okay, is that clear, power partners? Because it's really, really quite nice. Now, what can you do with power partners, but what can you also do to make the incentive to introduce you even bigger? That is actually offering someone something as soon as the connection is made, as soon as that person has become your ideal client. And that can be anything, but what I like to do is to offer them a bonus. A financial reward for introducing me to a new client that signs on and actually says yes to me. Okay. My bonus is 10% of whatever I'm selling, the value of the sales. So if someone introduces me to a new VIP client that signs on, that person gets 10%. And if you're watching this and you want to be my referral partner, just connect and we'll set it up. Okay. Why would you do it? You don't have to. Don't get me wrong, because, I network all the time. I introduce people all the time with or without bonus. I don't mind. Why do I do it? Because I like to work with certain ambassadors and I cherry pick them, I hand pick them that are really going for me and that are like, yeah, every person I see, I scan them and I think this might be a potential client for you. So if I work with someone and I give them the referral fee, I make it a bit more official. I actually join well, you can call it a joint venture, but I put something in writing so they actually know, hey, this is what I get. Okay. And I make sure they have enough materials from me so they actually can really do the introduction. If you have those power partners, ambassadors that are working for you, you will still need to stay top of mind with them because everybody's busy, everybody's building their own business, and they're not there to build your business. They just need to have you top of mind that if someone comes along, they will make the introduction for you. So what you can do is on a regular basis, reach out to them, connect with them, or send them some materials that are actually keeping you top of mind, or better yet, send them some materials they can share with their network that is actually making them look good, but also is a little nudge. Don't forget about me. And that is another way of saying, hey, who do you know that you can introduce me to? Right? And this again is something we underestimate so often. We have all these amazing materials. We have all these things that we do. We have all this knowledge that we have. And we tend to promote it quite actively on all our social media platforms. Oh, you know, I have this cheat sheet, these great steps, whatever. We have it, but we're not giving it to the people close to us who actually can send it to their clients so they will look good. And it's all about using your warm connections to leverage your network and to get to your clients. Now, if you want to, I'm not going to touch that. I'm not going to elaborate on that too much today, but I do want to talk about it. If you want to, and you really want a joint venture with some people, you can really set that up. What do I mean by that? It's often done by launches from coaches, consultants, you know, when they launch a webinar, or they launch a challenge, or they start a new program. Then what happens is that they have certain power partners amongst them, and they provide them with a lot of materials, including emails that actually will have people sign up to their free, webinar, or their free challenge. And then they use a specific affiliate link, that's how it's called, so a specific URL, so that if I have, for example, if I'm launching my free Get Shit Done Bootcamp, which is a 3-day challenge, and I have 10 power partners that I actually ask, hey, can you promote this for me? And can you send it out to your email list? Can you share it on your social media? And those people do it, and they have their own affiliate link. Then if someone that joined my bootcamp through their affiliate link, then I know, okay, as soon as they join, I need to pay you out. But there's a whole strategy around it. I'm not going to touch on that today, but there is actually really, really a great market to work with affiliates, ambassadors that promote you. And it's an easy way to get access to other people's network, and especially when they serve the same clients as you, it is really a great way to get in front of your ideal clients without you doing all the work. Why is it easier? Because first of all, it is warm. They have a network that knows them, that likes them, that trusts them. And if they then get, hey, you need to see this, they are more likely to sign up, or they're more likely to have that call with you because the introduction is warm. Okay, that's why it works so well. Now, I'm speaking about networking where you go to new people, right? You go to a networking event, you're meeting new people, you have a one-on-one conversation with someone who you don't really know. The thing is, you can do all this with the people you do know. You are sitting on gold. And who knows you best? Your family, your friends, your clients, your former clients, your colleagues, the people you go to the gym with, or the sports club, or church, or the people that you volunteer with, the parents of the children at school, you name it. Where you have people that know you, that somehow like you, you have a warm connection that has an amazing network that most likely holds your warm next client. So instead of networking with people you don't know, you could also decide to network with the people you do know. And how does that work? Well, again, there are several strategies you can do. But one of the strategies is to actually send out an email. Let's say, I'm going to make it more specific. Let's say I have two friends, Alice and Sheila. This is easy to remember because they are truly my friends. So, you know, I've got two friends, Alice and Sheila. I know who they know, but I also know a lot of, I know that they know a lot more people that I don't know. So I can go through their LinkedIn and say, hey, oh, Alice, you're connected with Raymond, and I really want you to introduce me to Raymond because he fits my perfect ideal client on paper. And I also see that you know Lars. Can you also introduce me to Lars because he also fits my perfect client on paper? Then I say that to Alice. Alice is a very good friend, so I call her and I say, would you mind introducing me? And she's like, no, I'm sure I will do that. And I say, well, because I will send you the email that you can send. And, you know, all you have to do is send it out to them. And she goes like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. No problem at all. Okay. I made it easy for Alice to introduce me because I told her who I wanted an introduction to, and I gave her the email that she can send out. Easier. It doesn't get any easier for them. And it takes a bit of time for me, but I know who I want to connect with. Okay. Now, if you feel like, hey, I've seen Sheila's LinkedIn. She's not active on LinkedIn at all because she doesn't like LinkedIn and she worked for a company. She, you know, that's not her thing. But I know that she knows people that need me. Then I can either call her or email her and say, hey, Sheila, I don't know, make it a personal thing and then say, I would love for you to introduce me to two people in your network. Would you please do that? these are the people I'm looking for. Remember, demographics, be very specific. And this is the email you can use. Thank you. Now, if you're going to go this route, and I don't see why you wouldn't go this route, because you're not asking for a lot, but you are building your business, you actually would need to do this with big numbers. Why do I mean big numbers? It's because not everybody's going to do it. As much as they love you, some people are busy moving or whatever. Not everybody's going to do this. But let's say you send this out to 50 people, right? You know 50 people, and you are very specific who you want to be connected to. You haven't, sorry, let me just take a sip. You have an email attached that actually they can use, and it's like easiest way possible. So you send out an email to 50 people saying, can you please introduce me to? Now, let's say 30% of the people that you send it to is going to make that introduction for you. Okay, so that's 15 people that are going to send out an email. That's quite a bit, right? Now, let's assume you're asking them to send it to, I don't know, how many people shall we say? We can say 2, because I think that's really not a lot. Or you can say 10. If they send it to 2 people, 30 people will be reached with amazing emails saying how you can help them. 30 people will be reached, okay? Now, let's say of those 30, there are 5 ideal clients. Because they're sending it out, it doesn't necessarily need to be actually your ideal client. So 5 people are your ideal clients. Of those 5, 1 goes like, I actually want to have a conversation with you. And they click the link to your meeting. So you reached your ideal client. But you can see that the numbers go down rapidly. You can do 2 things. You can ask them to introduce you to more, because if they're not sending it to 2 people, but to 10, you reach 150 people, right? Or you can make the initial number higher, sending it out to more than 50 people. And trust me, if you really dive into your network of people that you know, that you had a positive interaction with, there are so many people out there. So that's really a great way to use your network. Okay. What I will do is I will also enclose an example email that you can use. And I will also draft a networking one sheet that you can use as an example, so that you can actually make it your own. What I really want to emphasize is that it's very important to be very specific. The more specific you can be, the better. And it doesn't matter that you change it or that you say one thing to one person and another thing to the other person. But if you say, and I had it this morning, if you say, oh, I need someone in the technology space, nothing, no lights go off. But if you say, oh, I want to be connected to someone at booking.com, I go like, oh, I know someone. And that's how it works. And that's how you actually find the right people to connect with. So in short, in my eyes, everybody is the right person to connect with, because they are the gateway to your ideal clients. They are the gateway to your power partners, or maybe they are even a collaboration partner. But everybody is in principle the right person. The question merely is, what do you do with them? And do you give them the right information for you or for them, sorry, to find someone to connect you with? And are you not afraid to ask them to give you that connection? Because again, here is where it often goes wrong. Not asking, not being specific, and no follow-up from your side. Or making it hard for them. And what do I mean by hard? I had someone reaching out saying, my business is doing great, but I have one spot left. Do you know someone that needs my services? That's assuming that I actually know specifically what you do. I don't. Don't bring that on me. That's I don't want that burden. And by the way, I've got a lot to do. So now you're asking me to think about who can use your services. I need to draft an email to sell you to that kind of person. Too much. I already am drowning in my own work. Not going to happen. Okay. I do like the setup that you only ask for one introduction, because that's a lot more likely to do than when I ask for 10 introductions. Let's be honest here. But make it very easy for them. And be sure that in the email that you draft for them to send out, again, it's not about you. Of course, you're going to state how amazing you are, because you are. You're not going to be very shy. You're going to give some real life examples of the things you've done. But you are highlighting the results people get from working with you. Because that's what it's all about. What is in it for me needs to be very clear. So I will send that email, or I'll give that email here with the masterclass. I will give you a template to use for your own, how do you say that? Networking one sheet, which highlights all the things that should be in there. And if you have any queries, reach out, because I can help. Those were the things I wanted to address. I'm going to wrap it up, but let me know if you have any queries that I need to dive into first. And if not, just give me a thumbs up. Okay. Right. So how do I find the right person to network with? In principle, everybody can be the right person. Okay. When you have a conversation with someone, make sure to first break the ice, to actually have a human connection and not dive straight into business, because those connections really work best. Be very specific as to who you are looking for to be introduced to. Make it very clear who's your ideal client in terms of demographics, so they actually know who to introduce you to. You can always talk about the problem that you solve, but not every problem is shown on the outside. So rather pick the specific demographics of the people you normally work with. Okay. Ask for the introduction to your ideal clients. Who do you know that you can introduce me to? Be active. Know that sometimes even better than asking for an introduction to your ideal client is asking for an introduction to your power partner. A power partner is someone that works with the same audience, but delivers something else. Or, this is actually new, a power partner is someone who does the same thing as you, but is only working with a very specific target audience that isn't your target audience. Because when you do the same, but the target audience is different, they might attract people that are your target audience and other way around. Make sense? So if you work only with businesses, and they only work with consumers, but you offer the same, there might be an overlap that you actually can use. Okay, so ideal clients, power partners, ask for introductions. If you have a very great power partner you feel is very aligned to you, you can consider offering them something for an introduction made. That something can be a percentage of the sale, or it could be something else like a nice bottle of wine or whiskey or champagne or whatever. But offer them something. It doesn't always have to be a percentage of the sale. It can be something nice. Okay. After the networking call, make sure to follow up, to thank the people, and you can do the following. You can send them the one-pager about yourself. You can send them an introduction email they can send to the people you want them to introduce you to, and you can go over their LinkedIn profile to see who are 2 people that you feel you want to be introduced to. If you do that, then you actually have made their life so easy by saying, can you introduce me to Sheila and Alice? Use this email. I'd like to thank you. Make sure to follow up again when you asked it, okay? Because again, everybody's busy. Make sure to follow up. Hey, thank you. And then lastly, we spoke about how you actually are sitting on gold with all the people you know, all the people that like you, and that might be the gateway. So I'm not talking about cold people, but the family, the friends, the ex-colleagues that can introduce you and would love nothing better for you to build your business out. So use them, but again, make it easy for them with sending them, this is who I want to meet. This is the email. Can you please send it out to 2? But that's a big numbers game because you want to ask more people to do it. So you know for sure you reach out the right people. Okay, that's what I wanted to share with you today. If you have any queries, reach out, check out the email, check out the one-pager, and just go do it.